And I just killed play close to the minimized it. Anyway, so what this is about, I'm just going to do a little short recording for Space Crusade's developer's log. What this is about is the fact that I finally, after months of trying to figure out how to do it, finally found something that can we can use to load INI files with. Now, yeah, you saw right, I'm using Boost, finally. I've been trying to hold out on using it for as long as possible because really, Boost just I don't know, just doesn't, for some reason I don't just like Boost. For one thing though, I can tell you for sure, is that if you go over and look at it, this is where I've been installed. But if you look at the size of it's not done yet. It's gonna go, I think, to like 5 gigs. Okay, 3. But it's huge, and I actually got to a point where I was still going through building things in the command prompt. 7 gigabytes in total folder, and what was in the Boost folder that's on my desktop. But anyway, so we got that going, got it working, and finally have gotten this to work. So this is just a simple reading capability. How it works is essentially you have Boost declared as a namespace, and when you do this, you have to be careful because with Boost is like a open source kind of version of STL or STD, standard library. I guess STL, standard library, but that is also standard. And so you have to be kind of careful with that. For example, you don't want to be using namespace Boost using namespace STD because it will ruin your day. Let's just put it that way. So we have to explicitly declare what namespace of Boost we're using, just to limit it to program option. Program is a really awesome thing that is when it was original. It's just ini files, visualization files, and get stuff from them. And so what we're doing here is essentially I have a mock-up for like importing a player name, ID, difficulty, and then some just random values that I thought up of putting at the encounter random, the player damage modifier, computer damage modifier, item range low, item range high. And that's struct named variables, scdv data, load game data, as a reference. So we go through here and you see we have this, we call load g data here, send pgv through, and then we call up and count the values of those variables up here. Down here it's created I think it's a descriptor or a description or something. Essentially it's a bowl or a can or something that holds all of the options, which are all of your INI values, and essentially an option is a pair. And a pair is a key and a value. Now the key is synonymous with whatever. Well, here I'll show you. So, for example, here name is the key and game1a_g is the value. So that's a pair, and it's inside a section called data. So you have to go through and say, okay. Just give it a generic name for the description, then add options. Then you want to add a list of options, and you want to go by section if you have sections. So in this case we're doing player data name, player data ID, player data game difficulty, and all those come to the then you want to do this. Then you put in whatever whatever it is, whatever value type you want, and then you put in the variable. Need that. go ahead and kill that off too. Don't need any of that. And in other words, like this. Dang, so if we take this and this would happen. And we get some sort of thing like, you know, unorganized option, blah blah blah, whatever. And what was going on, and we get all this crap here. And what was going on was that, what I didn't realize was that the way that we were using that, the two parameters, meant that we had to do every option in the, every pair in the INI file at the same time. Otherwise, because what it would do here is it would go through and say, okay, look at everything and say, okay, so this pair, which would, I guess, ediff, or whatever it is, ez.erand, isn't in my options list, so I don't know what unorganized or unknown option down here, unknown option error, and stops processing the file. Now when you add in this true variable, this third parameter bool is to tell the function here that if it runs into any unknown you know, don't do anything. That's what allowed me to get it to work, as you'll see here. So, and here you go, loads up all the values. Now just to show you that how this works now between things. So that was media. Now if we were to set that to, let's say, oops, I want to minimize that, not down with this. Let's put this on easy. Now, before, where's the main at? That is main, okay. What's going on is that, so if gdiff was easy, it was pairs. So it would load these values. So now we're going to load these values here, because it's going to be easy now. And it should come up as a different thing. And yeah, there you go. So it loads up the easy, go to hard. Difficulty configurations with different values, and only load the values that you actually need. And it allows you to, you know, go in and change things. Like if you want to make the game even harder on easy than it is on easy by default, go in and like change the encounter rate to be much higher, or anybody else crazy, not crazy enough to have done that change. And that's kind of the modular ability, I guess modability really, technically is what it is. I'm looking for as far as, you know, how much of the game you'll be able to change and affect. And a lot of games you don't actually get to, you know, interact the game hard. A good one would be, I guess, Half-Life 2, big files that you can go in and change certain scdv, I think they're called, to practice. Open build 5 of 0.5 so that I can get access to the files without having to go through all the file crap. And we'll just do is just this. We'll select everything minus these two, I think just those two, and Control C. Now we'll come out here to projects, Control V, and we'll add existing files. So it's really easy to do. All you have to do is say add existing, and then sort them by whatever you want to, wherever you're adding things to. So in this case, headers. So I just want to add all the headers. And I'll load up all the headers, and then you get to see IntelliSense freaking out because of all the stuff that's been loaded. Same thing with CPP files, the existing items. So we're going to go to the include directories, And we're not done over here with this yet. Well, alright, now we're ready to do that. So we gotta go to properties and include directories, and then SQLite3. Now we also want to add it to that. I should have added it just now. Is going to be D boost. And we just add that as it is. Same process. I'm going to add because of the lib for SQL, and then we want to add in D boost the things for some reason. Solution dir SQLite 3, and then D boost and down the linker we also add in all the additional, is it input? Yeah, additional dependent. The SQLite3.lib, and the second is going to be an ungodly named one from boost. Essentially, you just want to find the name of the one you want. So, I don't know what all this stuff really is. This is part of the problem of why it was like taking so long to finish loading. Is because we got all these libs everywhere. Some of these are pretty freaking huge too. I mean, look at this. There's one in here. There's a lib in here that's megabytes. A tenth of a gigabyte. There's those kind of ones. Not lib boost. That has. Okay, so that's fine now. Just want to make sure that was still correct. So what I want to do now is I want to do something insane, and I went out a lot of things. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to essentially create a test to make sure that we see if we can actually do this the way it's supposed to be done, or not supposed to be, but do it so it works. You get it, but I mentioned it on CI recording I was doing earlier. AC decided to kill itself, and so I've been having to deal with extremely high temperatures and in the rooms and all that stuff too. Actually, I had footage. That's when I first realized something was bloody wrong. Anyway, so what we need to do now is we need to add boost to here. One thing important to remember is that you need to add boost after you add all this stuff, and otherwise there's a just doesn't work if you have it up there. So you want to go boost slash program options.hpp. Program options. So now, pulling from our test over here, we need to create a new struct that'll hold the data and be global, that we can add to every file that we need to. Include, so I'll say global vars.h. And so this will just be a hold all this stuff in it. There's define vein. I think that's all we'll need. So struct gvars, and so laser weapon item ID range. So int. Well, we could do an actual range though. Huh. So item ID range laser wep. Weps. That's that fn def. Alright, global vars. So now we come over here, global vars. And we have to, well, I don't know, actually just create a bunch of defines or something. Well, in this case we couldn't do a range, so we have to do each individual, so L weapons, laser weapons, what works for now. But this way we'll have to create a reference, and we'll have to pass the reference around. So in this case, alright, so now we want to go random gvar or gv dot. First, so I'm gonna copy it, and I'm not gonna retype out everything. Okay, so sc ops. So that's to replace GOP, GOP, rather, which stood for game options. And this becomes, so it'll be item ID laser weapon low. So it's going to be an int, and dot this dot m low. That really doesn't matter. Let me just get rid of that. We'll say do I? So I do. I didn't even know I did. So now we need to just go over here to the folder in here and create a new file. Edit it. So Alright, so 1. There's our weapon high equals 32, I believe. Okay. So I've got that now. Okay. So is ds_g. We don't have a data system thing here, do we? Wow. Well, let's add one. Get weapon name. So we're gonna see if this works. So let's load it up. Everything's got the build first. I'll get tons of warning messages. And we got a failed. Can't open file. Really? What did I use on this one? So obviously it wasn't the wrong one. I did use lib boost. Okay. Shows what the hell I know. Oh, I know what it was. I didn't use lib. It was just that dot whatever. It wasn't that dot lib. If we just do this, I bet you it'll work. And I forgot to do all the configuration stuff on both, so yeah. Doing both of them. And apply it one thing at a time. And the reason you have to do it as a build it as release is because if you don't, you get a bunch of errors from boost because it's compiled as a release, and if you don't compile the program as a release, it like you wouldn't believe. So there you go, 50mm Pyre laser. Question is now is what was the ID? I ran and see if that really was correct. So 22. Aha! So this is the proof of ID ranges in. Now we can return this back to its original proper state. We'll still need this. I think we'll leave it there for now. What I do want to do, let's go to the menu here. to retitle it. How it's going to work, how the code works, and how it's going to work, and to test to make sure it could work in the actual setting of the game, and it did quite splendidly. So huzzah! So I'll just tack on whatever other recording I do on top of this and smash it together. So until that time occurs, so GOL, and I will see you then.